Today we are going to understand the Power BI desktop settings, right? Because this is very important to use new features and to control admin activities on reports level. Okay, and it would be controlled by developer or the report author. Next, we are going to see on-premises Power BI, right? Overview of R and Python. And then how you can leverage R and Python scripts or visuals in Power BI. All right, so let's start with first one, Power BI desktop settings. So here I have started the Power BI desktop, right? So now we all are very much familiar with the Power BI desktop, that what exactly it is. All right, so most of the time what happens, like because Power BI desktop is a free tool and it's like report development tool, right? So it would be installed in your machines. Everyone will be having it installed in your machines. In maybe it depends, okay? Because sometimes as per the business requirement, you may be having a dedicated server. On that server, you can use the Power BI desktops, right? Instead of installing on separate individual machines, right? But wherever it is installed, it doesn't matter. The thing is like how you can control the settings. If you want to control any settings related to Power BI desktop or related to your any specific report, right? Then under the files, you have options and settings. Here you see options. This is a single place where you can manage all your settings related to the Power BI desktop, right? Here the settings have been separated in two portions. First portion is global setting, right? And the second portion is for current file. It means for current report, okay? So you have to decide whether you want to apply that setting for all the reports, then you have to update the settings under the global settings. Or if you want to update that setting only in the current file, in current report, then that should be changed under the current file settings, okay? There are some settings like which are applicable to current file, or some are applicable to the global settings only, right? Like regional settings. These such kind of settings are product specific, means tool specific, but these current file, all these settings are reports specific. So if you want to change anything, then you have to come here. Then here you see some of the common settings which I am going to explain you, right? Although you don't need to change change anything here, right? If you change something here, then it would be difficult for you to get the default setting or to reset to default setting. Then only the last option you will be having to reinstall the Power BI desktop. Okay. All right. So the one common thing is like you have to time you have to clear your cache, right? Otherwise, what will happen? Because when you create the reports in Power BI desktop, reports and the data models and temporary files will be created in Power BI desktop temporary folder, okay, in its temporary directory. Then what will happen here, if you see that current cache is used cache is 34 MB, right? And the maximum cache is 4 GB. So sometimes what happens, although Power BI desktop automatically clears the cache, but in some cases, let's say if your organization is not allowed any tool or any application to make any change or to delete anything from the cache automatically, then you have to come here. And if you see here, if your cache is like more than like 500 or more than that, then you have to clear it manually. Otherwise, what will happen? Okay, so if you have consumed like more cache here, then you will feel a slowness into the Power BI desktop. Okay, so always make sure that once in a month, right? If your usage is too much and you work on large data sets very frequently, every day you work, then it's better that every week or every 15 days you can clear the cache. Otherwise, like once in a month or like once in 2 months or 3 months, you can clear the cache from here, right? Now let's go to the next portion, which is query editor. Under the query editor, you see some of the settings here, right? So these are the default settings which are not like recommended to change anything here, right? For example, like if you see if you in the query editor, if you remember, there is a query settings pane. If you don't want to see that, or if you don't want to see the formula bar, then you can disable that from here. If you are not able to see the formula bar or query settings pane in the query editor, then it means you have disabled that from here. Okay. The next settings you have here for R and Python scripts, right, which are the most commonly used. See, if you before using R or Python with Power BI, first of all, you have to install R and Python packages in your machine. Once you will install them, then Power BI will automatically detect the R or Python home directories. As you see here, under the R script and setting, detected our home directory, right? So once I install the R in my machine, it automatically detected it. And it also detect the tools, one IDE which you have installed for the R. So for R, I have installed the R Studio. Okay, so that has been automatically detected here. Okay, so make sure before you start using the R or Python, make sure that home directory and IDE has been detected by the Power BI. If not, then here you have a way like you can manually change it. Just go here and select other, and here you can specify the path. Okay. All right, next setting is here the most commonly used setting which you see, preview features, right? So make sure that all the preview features are selected, otherwise you won't be able to use the new feature or the other preview features into the Power BI desktop, right? Next option you have here, report settings. Under the report settings, there are few things like which you can manage in terms of the like alignment, especially. Generally, what happens when you create a Power BI desktop report, right? So you see that Power BI desktop will be, that report will start from the top, okay? Or sometimes that will start from the center. Let me show you that what I mean. So your report will be displaying from here sometime, okay? And sometimes your report will be starting to display from here. Like it means the alignment should be center or top sometimes, right? So if you want to manage this thing, then here is the settings, right? Which you can manage, right? This is required only when you are going to display your report on a projector or on a larger screen. All right, next settings we have here for the data load, which is especially for the time intelligence and relationships, right? So generally, I have already advised you that do not enable this auto detect feature, right? Otherwise, sometimes it create wrong relationships and you will get stuck that what's creating the problem for us. Okay, so always disable this, okay? Because if it is only recommended when you have the highly normalized or highly configured database, right? Or data warehouse, then it is recommended. Okay, other than this setting, it's not recommended to change anything here, right? Until unless it's not required. Next, here is auto recovery. Auto recovery, Power BI capture the recovery file in its temporary location after every 15 minutes. If your desktop, if your system got crashed, then when you will next time log in your machine, then you will see a recovered file. Okay, so you can recover that. So if you disable it, then recovery will stop. So it's not recommended to change that. Next, here you have a report settings. So for example, if for any specific report, you don't want to allow your users to export the data in Power BI service, okay? Then because if you want to restrict in all the reports, then you can manage the setting from the Power BI service admin portal. Okay, then that what will happen? All users from all reports will not be able to export the data in Excel. But let's say if you want like, okay, so this is my finance related report, only from this report, users should not be able to extract data in Excel. Except this report, users can export the data in Excel. Then that thing you have to control from here. You have to open that report in Power BI desktop and you have to select this one. Don't allow end users to export any data from Power BI service or the report server. Okay. So if you want to manage any specific setting on any individual report, then you have to do it from the Power BI desktop, not from the Power BI admin portal. Got it? All right. Next, there are some other settings, but these are not required to change. Okay. That's it. So this is just a quick overview of the settings here. Okay. All right. So now next, we move on to the Power BI on premises. So what exactly on premises Power BI is? Okay. So let's understand that what is Power BI report server. Power BI on premises. Okay. So we know that what is Power BI service, right? Power BI service is a cloud-based application, right? It's a cloud application, or I can say it's a SaaS, software as a service application, which we use on browser. Okay, and here we don't care about the upgradation, management, or any kind of patching or any kind of resources in Power BI service. We just use it. Everything is managed by the Microsoft. This is a cloud application, a cloud platform. But some organizations wants to put their data or their reports within their company's domain, within their intranet only. They don't want to put the reports on or the data on cloud because of the security concerns. And this happens majorly with finance institutions, some financial companies or some government companies, right? So such kind of organizations, basically, they don't prefer to put their data, their sensitive data on cloud. Although cloud is secure, but still due to some security concerns and some their internal policies, they don't want to put the data on cloud. So for that situation, they can use on-premises Power BI. It means when you will publish, when you will deploy any report or data set, that will be deployed within the domain. It means it cannot be accessible from outside the domain until unless you use any VPN service. Okay, so we can say Power BI on premises is a alternate or a substitute of Power BI service, but there is a catch. It's cloud based and it's on premises, it's locally. Got it? So for on premises, basically in Power BI service, what we do, we deploy our reports in cloud database. Okay, and Power BI service is a cloud platform which we use to interact with the reports. Got it? And everything like servers, machines, everything is managed by Microsoft. But in case of Power BI on premises, we deploy our reports into the SQL database. Means that database would be in your organization somewhere on machine. That database should be configured, and there your reports, all your settings would be deployed. Okay, and instead of using the Power BI service, here you will get a intranet or a local web portal which you will use to interact with your on-premises reports. Okay, I'll show you. So the very first thing is, if you are going to use on-premises Power BI report server, which is, it means if you want to set up this Power BI on-premises, then you have to set up on-premises report server, or I can say Power BI report server. If any one of you worked on the SSRS, then you will see it is almost similar because the same components have been used for the Power BI report server as well. Okay. So Power BI report server you have to configure. It means you are configuring everything, servers, databases in locally. It means within the domain, within your company intranet. And then you will put all your reports, all your data sets under this report server, and through a web portal, through a Power BI web portal. Through this web portal, you will access all your reports. Okay. Although there are some limitations, some restrictions in on-premises Power BI, like you can't use dashboards. There is not any concept of dashboards in on-premises Power BI. If no concept of dashboard in Power BI, it means all the related settings or the related features of dashboard will also not be accessible through the on-premises Power BI, like Q&A, subscribe, alerts, right? There are many more. So these features will not be accessible because there is no concept of dashboard in the report server. In report server only you can deploy your reports and you can access them. That's it. Some of the common features like export data, cross filtration, cross highlight, such kind of things, yes, you can do, right? But the advanced things you cannot do in on-premises Power BI. All right. Now the thing is how to use it and how to download, install, and configure it. In order to download this, Microsoft release updates for Power BI report server twice in a year, right? First update is released in January, and then the second update released in May. Okay. So also one more thing, for using the Power BI on premises, you have to use a different version of Power BI desktop. Okay, Power BI desktop RS. This is a report server version. It's an optimized version of Power BI desktop, although look and feel is, I'll say 99% is same. Only one or a few other settings are there which you don't see into the Power BI desktop RS, right? Otherwise, it's same as to this. Only the thing is few buttons, few settings are not there. If you want to deploy any report in on-premises Power BI, then you have to do the development for that report in this version. Okay, because there is a compatibility issue. If you develop the report from the regular version of Power BI desktop from this one, then you will not be able to deploy it onto the Power BI on premises. Okay, so first you have to download these two things. Got it? Power BI report server and Power BI desktop RS. How to download? Let's see here. Click on advanced download options. Click on download here. All right, so here you see three things. One is Power BI report server, and the second is PBI desktop, Power BI desktop RS, 32-bit or 64-bit. Okay, so based on your need, you can choose. Let's say for 64-bit Power BI desktop RS. Okay, so you select these two components here and click on next. These two components, these two softwares will be downloaded in your machine. So this is the download link. All right, here is the download. Next step is to install. Installation of Power BI report server and Power BI desktop you have to do. For Power BI desktop, it is straightforward, just next and finish. That's it. For Power BI report server, when you will start installing the Power BI report server, you will see some options to get it installed in your machine. Power BI report server comes in different editions. The one is evaluation edition. Second is developer edition. These are the editions. And enterprise edition. So what is the difference? Evaluation edition, technically there is not any challenge or any issue you will see when you use any of them. Okay, only the difference is in terms of money and license. That's it. Evaluation period is for, as the name suggests, evaluation for your evaluation purpose, for doing some R&D or research only, and it's having the validity of 180 days. It means it's kind of a trial which is valid for 180 days. Means this evaluation you can use for 180 days. Next is the developer edition. There is no expiry. There is no expiry for this. Developer edition means you can use developer edition and technically you can achieve everything, but the thing is Microsoft recommends that you cannot use developer edition for your production purpose. Okay, next is enterprise edition. It comes with a product key, means it is licensed and product key based. All right, so the point is, if you use any of them, evaluation or developer, then yes, you can choose that option during the installation time and you can proceed for the installation completion. Okay, if you choose enterprise edition, then you must have a product key. Okay, now the point is how you can get the product key. To get the product key, you have two options. To get the product key, you have two options. One is, see, Microsoft says we will not provide the product key for enterprise edition separately. It will come always as a bonus or as a free tool with any other purchases from the Microsoft. Let's say if you purchase SQL Server 2017 Enterprise Edition, software quality assurance, it's a version name, nothing else. If you purchase this one, then Microsoft will give you SQL Server 17 plus product key of Enterprise Edition. Okay, and the second option is you can purchase Power BI Premium. If you purchase Power BI Premium, then you will get the Enterprise Edition product key to use the Power BI report server. It means directly you can't purchase it. Either you have to purchase this one or this one, then you will get this. Okay, all right, so this is the way like how you can get it. Now the point is, if you get any one of them, then what is the cost? Okay, because need to discuss about the cost also, it's very important thing. This is an enterprise tool, so you have to pay some money to Microsoft also if you want to use enterprise edition. Then there are two options, one is SQL Server and Power BI Premium. So for SQL Server, the one time cost is $14,000, right? This is one time. If you pay $14,000, then you will get this and this. After paying $14,000, you have to pay the AMC amount, and the AMC amount is annual maintenance cost is 14% of this. Sorry, 14% of your 14,000. Sorry, not 14, 22%. It's been 22% of this 14,000 every year you have to pay to Microsoft as an AMC of SQL Server 17. Or if you purchase Power BI Premium, then it will cost you $5,000 per node and it's per month. Although it's not cheap, it's very expensive model, but it's basically it's useful only when you have a hybrid deployment model. Hybrid means like some reports you want to deploy on premises and some of the reports you want to deploy on the cloud. All right. So these are the way you have if you want to get it. Installation is done. Then the third thing is configuration. When you want to do the configuration, you must have SQL Server database in your machine. It requires SQL Server database in your machine. Why? Because it when you store any report or any setting, any data set, that will store in this SQL Server database, right? So that's why it's required. It's a prerequisite. Before configuring the Power BI report server, you must have a SQL Server database, okay? Because everything will be stored into this report server database. If you have this, then you can configure it. For configuring, it is very easy. Only you just need to provide your database name. Let me show you. I have already installed the report server, so I'm just showing you how does it looks like. Report server configuration manager. From this tool, you can manage all your settings related to your on-premises Power BI. Connect to this instance. Everything, all the instance and everything will be automatically created. Now you go to the database tab here. Under this database tab, you see there is change database, right? So right now my database name is report server. Initially, when you will first time use it, it will come by default here, right? So you have to, if you want to change the database, then here is a way you can change, or you can create any other database also. Okay, this is report server database, where all the data, all this data models, reports, settings, keys, everything will be stored into this database. Okay, so you can create a new database from here. It's just like a wizard. Simply you just need to create next, provide your credentials, and that's it. Once your database you have selected here, right, by default you will get the report server, this database automatically, if you have installed report server, if you have installed the SQL server in your machine. The next thing is you have to go here into the web portal. Here is the URL, right? As you are using the Power BI service, so we can say like it's a alternate of Power BI service. If I click on it, then it will open the another web portal in my screen, okay, which I can use to interact with the reports, to provide the permissions, to control the data refreshes and everything. Okay, so if I open this one, all right, so here you see this is a report server. Okay, so although there's not anything right now, okay, so you don't see, otherwise you will see here once you will deploy your reports. Let's say if I deploy any report from the Power BI desktop. Now let me show you the another version of Power BI desktop, which is you see here Power BI desktop, right, RS version. If I start it, then you will see the difference in logo. Here for the regular version of Power BI desktop, the logo background color is yellow, and for the RS version, logo background color is black. Okay, so this is just to get a difference like which version you are using, and make sure that you create or you open your report in the correct version. Otherwise, if you open your report in the wrong version, then it will not support the another version of Power BI desktop. Okay, so be careful with working with on-premises reports. All right, so here you see the Power BI desktop. Now you see these two versions. This is for the RS version and this is for the regular version. So you can see the logo difference. There's a background color and the yellow background color. All right, so now what you do in Power BI desktop, you create the same report, right? How you were creating into the normal version of Power BI desktop. Once you create your report, then you go here into the file and you go to save as. Under the save as, you will see Power BI report server. If you have configured correctly, then once you will click on it, here you will see report server path, right? Now you just click on OK, and your report will get deployed onto the web portal, and from that web portal which I just shown you, you can open your report, and then you can use your report. You can filter out data, export it, and everything, whatever you do on the Power BI service on the report level. Got it? And everything, this will be like accessible from your organization, from your domain only. Outside domain, you won't be able to access it. All right, so this is on-premises Power BI. Some organizations are using only Power BI on premises, and some organizations are using hybrid model, which means like some reports can be deployed on premises and some can be deployed on cloud on Power BI service. If you want to try, or if you want to get hands-on on it, then you have to go to this URL, download Power BI Desktop and RS, right? And here you can choose this developer edition, right? It will not have any expiry. You can use it and you can build your reports. You can deploy reports on the report server and you can learn it. You can do some POCs and researches. Although if you want to use your reports only internally in your organization only, right? Then you can use developer edition also, right? There's not any difficulty. There's not any limitation in using it. Any question? Is it clear, guys? Okay, I see one question. Do we get sharing option in developer edition within organization? Yes, definitely you can. You can share. For example, if I created one report, then from the Power BI web portal, I can share that organization within my organization, within the other people. Okay, but within organization only. All right. So if it is clear, then we can move on to the next portion. All right. Overview of R and Python. Let's start from very basic. R and Python. So first, let's go back to one more step. Okay, so anybody heard about the data science, right? Machine learning, AI. So basically, all these things, R and Python, these two are the programming languages, right? Using these programming languages, you can build your data models. Not only data model, these are the multi-purpose languages. Okay, means using Python, you can build your website, you can build any tool, you can build a data model, a lot of things you can do. Okay, and even like YouTube is also built upon the Python. Okay, Python is the main programming language behind the YouTube. So there are a lot of things which you can achieve using the Python and using R, but Python is gaining much popularity because it's easy to learn and it's easy to write and understand in comparison to R. R is especially designed for creating the statistical data model, for creating a statistical softwares, right? Although R community is not much powerful as comparison to Python, because Python has grown rapidly in last couple of years. All right, so R and Python are the programming languages, which here in our context, we'll understand that from the data analysis and data visualization point of view, how you can use it, how they works, okay, and how, if you want, how you can work on that. Okay, it's not mandatory to learn for you because it would be a completely separate path for you. But if somebody is having any interest, then you can go for that. Okay, so the first of all, we need to understand that as a Power BI developer or as a Power BI analyst, what is the requirement of knowing or working on R or Python? Because there are other things also. There are other things also like Java, C#, right? And a lot of scripts and programmings we have here. JavaScript, TypeScript. There are a lot of things in the market. But why we are talking only for R and Python? Why we're not talking about these? The thing is, all these programming languages are having some packages, some built-in libraries. So all other languages except R and Python, all other languages are not having the data modeling and data visualization libraries. So that's why we don't talk about the other language, first thing. So it means Python and R, these languages are having some libraries or some functions, some features to work on the data, to do data analysis, to do data modeling, to do data visualization. Okay, so that's why we choose only R or Python, and especially in R or Python also we choose Python because it's easy, okay, and it's having much flexibility to mold your data, to mold your visualization, whatever you want. It's highly customizable basically. Okay, so for Python or R, what is the use here? Why we are going to have this overview or this idea? See, some of the use cases. For example, right now using the Power BI, using your finance data, right? You are building some data models, right? Those data models are based on the historical data. Same as to your HR data. Let's say you have you have created some reports or some visualization where you are displaying that what is the employee retain ratio, right? How you retain your employees, what is that ratio in the last couple of years, let's say like in last 5 years, 10 years. Okay, so based on that, what you are doing, you are doing the Okay, so first thing is, one more thing came in my mind. When we say analysis could be anything. Okay, it could analysis we can do of any product, analysis we can do of any tool, of any system, any machine, okay, anything. But when we mention data here, data analysis, then it means it is specifically for analysis of the data. Okay, data could be business data or any data. Okay, so data analysis is further divided into the three categories, mainly three categories. One is descriptive analysis, predictive analysis, prescriptive analysis. Why I'm explaining these things to you? Because to an extent, in last couple of next couple of years, like let's say next 4 or 5 years, you will be facing this challenge. Like you will be asked to do something on predicted data models, on some forecasting, or maybe now you are doing. Okay, but in next 4 to 5 years, it would be a common thing. Okay, so currently what we are doing, where our focus is on past or on present. One day you will be interested in future. So it means what we are doing, we are getting the data, right? Maybe last 2 years of business data or current data, present data. We are just using that, doing data modeling, writing expressions, doing some couple of data transformations and whatever we want. Based on that, we are just visualizing, we are displaying the information from that data. Okay, so what is it? It is a data analysis. Which analysis? It is a descriptive analysis. Means we play with historical or the current data in descriptive analysis. Means we are focused to know only what happened, right? In descriptive analysis, we just extract the information to visualize, to display what happened, where sales goes down, where sales was high, what was wrong, what was right, or what is wrong, what is right, what happened. In predictive analysis, our focus area is what will happen, how our sales or how our employee satisfaction ratio will grow, how our profit will grow, how much percentage, what would the percentage ratio of the growth, right? So that is predictive analysis. The next is prescriptive. In prescriptive analysis, we are mainly focused on to find out those parameters on which we depend, on which the future is depend, the predictive analysis is depend. Like if our profit will grow in next 6 months on this ratio, then what will be the parameters which will be helping to grow this profit? Okay, so it means here you find out those parameters and also you try to find out the why, right? Not what. Let's say if your sales happened, like if your sales has decreased, if you're having some loss, then what are those parameters? Based on them, you are getting the loss. So when you work on the why, then it comes to the prescriptive analysis where you try to find out the parameters, those factors which are impacting your past or which are going to impact your future. Okay, why happened or why will happen. Got it? So now what we are doing through the Power BI, we are just doing this descriptive analysis. But if somebody asks you to show using the past 5 years of data, show that how your profit, how your sales, how your employee satisfaction ratio, or how your employees growth, their learning platform, their knowledge, their skill set, anything, how that will grow, how that will work in future, like for next couple of months, let's say next 6 months, 3 months, or next 1 year, something like this. Okay, a real-time example is if you do a population analysis of India, so you can see